Hi, I'm Miss Vicki with Do It in Line Dancers, and I'm here to teach you some of the basic line dance vocabulary. I'll also be teaching you some basic line dance steps and basic line dance sequences. I am not here to teach you how to line dance. That's the job of a line dance instructor. You can go to a club, you can go to a senior center, a rec center. Some colleges offer line dance classes. But I want to teach you the basic vocabulary, steps, and sequences so that when you go to those classes, you don't feel lost and overwhelmed. You'll feel like you know what the teacher's talking about and that they're not teaching or speaking a foreign language to you. I'm going to start off with a few basic terms that I'm going to need a little bit of assistance so that I can demonstrate them for you. And the first term is going to be line dance. So if I can get my assistant out here. We call it line dance because generally we dance in line. And we will dance in a straight line, right to left, left to right, however you want to look at it. It's not always just one line. We don't call it line dance because it's Lord of the Dance and we all get in one line. It's not the can-can. But we get in lines, and we generally will have one line behind another. So you'll either step next to somebody or you will line up behind somebody and just pretend there's a whole line back there and a whole line up here. And depending on the number of dancers on the dance floor will dictate how far you will space yourself from the other dancers. So if there's not very many people, like right now, we can have a good amount of space between us. If there's a lot of people on the dance floor, we're going to have to tighten it up. The important thing is once you start dancing, you want to keep basically the same space between you that you started with. If you start taking a lot bigger steps than the people next to you, you're going to end up banging into each other, possibly tripping somebody and falling down. And we don't want to have full contact line dancing. We just want to have a nice social experience. So try to keep the space on the floor. And just a little point of line dance etiquette. If you're brand new and you're just starting out and you go to a club, please don't put yourself right in the middle of all the dancers, all right? If those dancers know what they're doing, you're going to make them feel a little angry because you are going to be getting in their way, I can guarantee it. So if you're brand new and you want to learn to dance, go to the club, but go and stand on one of the sides or on the back row so that you can make all the mistakes you want to and you're not going to get in anybody's way and you're not going to trip anybody. That's the safe way, that's the polite way, and I guarantee people are not going to be irritated at you and you'll have a much friendlier experience if you do that. Now, when they're teaching a lesson, you can stand anywhere you want because you're trying to learn. Okay, but then when the music comes on, that's when you get into the position where you're less likely to interfere with any of the other dancers. All right, so this is our basic line. We have a couple of other ways, but mainly we sometimes dance line dances in a circle. That just means we line up in a circle. We line up behind each other. Now, we don't line up facing the inside of the circle because we're not doing the hokey pokey here. We get like we're race cars going around a racetrack. So we're going around the racetrack. It might be a race oval in this case, but we're going around in a circle and we're one behind the other. That's a circle dance. So line dance, circle dance. Then we have a couples dance. Now, sometimes we do circle dances and we don't have partners. Sometimes we do circle dances and we have a partner. Partner, it's not always a couple dance in the sense that it's a guy and a girl and you're touching. Sometimes it's just two people standing next to each other and going around in the circle. But in a partner dance, in a couples dance, you have a couple positions that you would normally take. One of them is sweetheart position if you have a partner. And you can see my right hand is over my shoulder here, and my left hand is in the palm of his hand. I'm just a little bit ahead of him, not way ahead because I'm not way ahead of him because I don't want to pull my arms backwards, and I'm not even with him because then we would run into each other. I'm just slightly ahead. The other thing you don't want to do, guys, is you don't want to grab your partner's hand. You don't want to hold on, because then and ladies, that's true for you. If you grab this hand and you try to do a turn, I'm just going to take him down. I'm going to break his wrist or he's going to break mine. But if I'm just touching, I can do a turn and our fingers stay touched. And then if I start to get off balance, I can grab. And it's kind of like grabbing on a zip line. If you've ever done that, it'll stop you right where you are and you won't fall on the floor. So that's always a good thing. There is another couple's position where the woman puts her hand on her hip and the man puts his hand in position. We use this for a dance called Denver Cha-Cha. If you're going to do a two-step, you take a more traditional couple's position where my left hand is on his shoulder. My right hand is in the palm of his hand. Again, we're not gripping, we're just lightly touching each other. And you can let your fingers curve around, but you're just not going to grip. His right hand should be on my bra line, all right? So you can see his hand's not down here, guys. His hand's up here on my bra line, and it's not going to be up on my hair or anything like that. I'm able, with my hand on his shoulder, if he starts going backwards and I want him to stop because there's somebody back there he's going to run into, just a light bit of touch here, and I can control and let him know. I could say, hey, yeah, there's somebody behind you, don't want to go there. He can do the same with his hand here. He can control me just a little bit, or he can try. Anyway, all right, so that's a couple's dance. We also have what we call social dances, where typically you're not with a partner, but it's just that all the dancers are interacting with each other in some form. We have a classic dance that we do very often this way. It's called Black Velvet. We dance it in contra lines, which is our next term. Contra means we're facing each other and our lines are contra to each other. So generally you'll take one step so that you can go through the lines. And this is a social dance because we're facing each other. We're not just doing our own thing, but we're in some form or another, we're interacting with each other. In Black Velvet, a lot of time we're going to shuffle forward. We tap our hands as we go past each other. And that's just one point of contact. It makes it a little more social than if we're just dancing in a line and doing our own thing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, a few more terms. Forward line of dance is the dance, the direction you're facing, and when you're starting the dance, or at any given time, the direction you're going forward is your forward line of dance. If I'm in a dance here and I'm facing the music, which I don't know if I mentioned that, but you do want to face the music. Your forward line of dance should always be facing the music. If it's a DJ, you face the DJ. If it's a live band, you face the live band. There's a club here in Southern California where they have the DJ on one side and the live band on the other side. So when the band is on, we line up facing the band. And when the DJ is doing the music at breaks, we turn around and our forward line of dance is where the DJ is. And so typically in a line dance, your forward line of dance is going to start wherever the music is. Your reverse line of dance, or RLOD, is going to be the opposite wall. If I'm in a circle dance, my forward line of dance is the direction I'm going in when I start. My reverse is behind me. And that's very important in a circle dance because I have no other way of telling you as a teacher what I want you to do. The forward line of dance is the way we start. The reverse line is behind you. And then there's the center of the circle and the outside of the circle. That's the only way I have as a teacher to tell you what direction to face. Now that's not true when you're dancing line dance and not a circle dance. When you're doing line dances, I can tell you the direction to face based on the walls. You have 4 walls in a room, unless it's a hexagon, but or octagon or one of those other things. But assuming we have a normal four-sided room, you have four sides. We name them after the clock face. 12 o'clock wall, 3 o'clock wall, 6 o'clock wall, 9 o'clock wall, and back to the 12 o'clock wall. And then you have your diagonals, which is halfway between one wall and the other. So when I'm facing the 12 o'clock wall, my right diagonal is 1:30. And then I can go to my left diagonal, which is 10:30, if I did my math right. When I go to the 3 o'clock wall, I have a right diagonal, which is halfway between the 3 o'clock and the 6 o'clock wall. My left diagonal is halfway between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock. When I'm facing the 6 o'clock, I have a right diagonal between 6 and 9, and I have a left diagonal between 3 and 6. When I face 9, I have my right diagonal between 12 and 9, and my left diagonal between 6 and 9. Those are all my walls of dance and the diagonals that go with them. And that's the way I'm going to instruct you. As a teacher, I'm going to tell you that we're turning towards, we're making a right turn to the 3 o'clock wall. Okay? So the other thing with walls is something that you don't really need to know right now, but you can learn a little later as you go. You will learn that when you read a step sheet, the wall is the wall that you start the dance on, and you do a full sequence of the dance. So if it's a 4-wall dance and it's 8 counts, that's 32 counts. You dance all 32 counts, and when you start the dance over, that's wall 2. And then you do 32 counts and you start the dance over, that's wall 3. And you do 32 counts and start it over, that's wall 4. If it's a 4-wall dance, and if I'm rotating towards the 3 o'clock, that means I start the dance, my wall 1's at 12, I end at 3, I start the dance over, that's wall 2, I end at 6, I start over, that's wall 3, I end at 9, I start over, that's wall 4, and when I start over again on the 12 o'clock wall, that's wall 5, and I just keep going. That becomes important when we have things like tags and restarts, because that's how the choreographer tells us when and where we're going to do a tag and a restart. A tag is whenever we add counts to the dance, somewhere in the dance. So it might be wall 1. At the end of wall 1, we're going to do a 4-count tag. Why would we do that? Because the band that did the music added something to the music, and we want to stay in phrase to the music. Therefore, we add counts so that our dance doesn't get off phrase to the music. We sometimes have restarts for the same reason. A restart is whenever we start the dance over anywhere other than the end of the dance where we would normally start over anyway. So I could start on 12 o'clock, wall 1, and I could dance half of the dance and do a 4-count tag and restart the dance. And then maybe I restart at the beginning of the dance, and then I do the full sequence. So that's kind of something, when you're doing beginners dances, you're not going to have tags and you're not going to have restarts. So hopefully that's something you're going to be able to incorporate into your lexicon a little later. But at least when somebody says tag or restart or wall 1 or wall 2, you'll know what the heck they're talking about, and you can kind of go with that. A call. A call is what the teacher is going to do when they're telling you the steps to the dance and expecting you to do what they're telling you. So if I'm calling a grapevine, I might say you're going to step side right, behind, side right, touch, side left, behind, side left, touch. I just called the dance for you. I called the steps. And each time I called a step, I expected you to move your feet in a certain way. So if you're familiar with square dancing, it's the same thing as the square dance caller calling your steps for you. And that's the way your teacher has of telling you what you're going to do. And in the subsequent videos that we're going to do, I'm going to be teaching you those steps and demonstrating those steps and calling them for you. The other way the teacher has of helping you learn is by counting. And counting merely takes the steps and puts them to the beat of the music. So if I did the same sequence that I just did a moment ago, and I counted it, I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That puts the dance to the music so that when the music goes on, those beats, those counts are going to match the beat of the music. It might be that the beat of the music is going to be 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8. So the count might change. And what I just did, I included an and count. An and count is like a half beat, or it's not quite a half beat. It's whenever you put like 3 steps into 2 counts of music. So instead of it being 1, 2, it's 1 and 2. So I move my feet 3 times. Instead of 1, 2, it's 1 and 2. I move my feet to the 1, to the and to the 2. And that keeps me to the beat of the music. So that's an and count. I think we've gone through just about everything. There are 2 counts that we can use, by the way. We can use 8 counts. Our normal dances are all 8 count segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A waltz count is 6 counts. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A count-in is how the teacher or the DJ or the band tells you when to start dancing. In a normal count, where we have 8 counts, the count-in is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you're going to start dancing. So it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, start. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If it's a waltz, your count-in is going to be 4, 5, 6. So it would be 4, 5, 6, start. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count in, count. In the next video, we're going to be going over, and I'm going to be demonstrating the basic steps that you can do or that you'll be asked to do in line dance. And the video after that, we'll be doing the basic line dance sequences. Steps are 1 count of music, and sequences are typically 2, 4, 6, 8 counts. So I can tell you the name of the sequence and you know what the next 6 or 8 counts of the dance are going to be. If you would like to download and print out a glossary of the terms I've just gone over and the names of the steps and the sequences that I'm going to be going over in the next 2 videos, please go to our website. It's www.doitinlinedancers.com. That's doit, D-O-I-T, inline, I-N-L-I-N-E, dancers, plural, DANCERS.com. And you can download the glossary. You can follow along. You can make your notes. And I thank you very much. Happy dancing!